This is Sexy Funny Raw, the podcast with me, adult film star and comedian Silvia Saige, here to discuss what you've only dared to ask Google. Undress, unzip, and unwind. The party starts now. We are back for another episode of Sexy Funny Raw. I am joined by my guest co-host today, Mr. Donnie Rock.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, Donnie. Donnie is a multiple AVN nominee, having been in the business for 4.5 years, just shy of my 5. He's also directing and producing adult films now. He is the boy next door with a winner of Sex Factor and an avid orgasm giver.
Ooh. Yes,
yeah.
often. Early and often.
Early and often
yeah.
That you're giving them? Good
yeah,
for you. That's how a man should do it.
There you go.
And I will not wait any longer to introduce my guest for today, the beautiful Crystal Marie.
I'm so excited to be here.
I know, I'm so excited to have you. Crystal Marie is a TV host and stand-up comedian. You've seen her in a special correspondence for Extra, HBO Boxing, Sunrise Australia, which is the #1 breakfast show in Australia, and HNL's The Daily Share. She's also served as the MC for HBO's Red Carpet events, which, why wouldn't she, with that beautiful mug of hers? She first gained recognition on the web as a host, producer, and creator of the popular sports channel The Fumble. Her videos earned over 300 million views before she moved on to television. Now, Crystal performs stand-up regular here in Los Angeles and New York, and for material, she taps into her experience as a first-generation Catholic Iraqi woman growing up in Detroit.
Irish would have been a different set. Yeah, different skin tone,
different set of abilities as well. So, Crystal, I'm so happy to have you here. She said she would not do any more podcasts, and then I got her here.
Yeah, I'm so tired of these goddamn podcasts.
But this one is totally different.
No, I always loved you ever since the first day I met you, so I was like, yeah, whatever she wants.
Oh, I love that. That's how I felt about you as well, because you do. There's very few women in comedy who actually empower other women, and you are definitely one of those people, and I really appreciate that.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I love looking at you. I love watching you. She is hysterically funny.
I'm going to come here every day.
You have one of my favorite jokes in the whole wide world, by the way.
Which one is it?
The one where you say that you can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
Oh, yeah. Ta-da!
Ta-da! That's probably my all-time favorite joke. I just love it.
It's the complete opposite. I feel like it's all the hoes that are the housewives because we know what we're doing.
That's true. So. That's true. I haven't stretched that far yet. But
okay.
I have been a housewife, but it was I guess I was going to say it was before I was a hoe, but it was only before I was getting paid to be a hoe. I was still technically a hoe before then.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys. So let's get to know my guest. Donnie, I just learned a little piece of information about you that I didn't know. That you were a Division I wrestler and that you are a certified... What?
No, I was a Division I wrestler.
Wait, what was it, Alexander, that you called it?
Well, he's also a smarty because he also has a degree. He studied a lot, but he's a Division I wrestler.
Oh, I thought you called it something. That's why we were
certified, but he could be certified for other things.
I think it was just honestly because Alexander wanted to see the workout videos that we had of Donnie and seeing him in his workout.
And he was a wrestler in college, by the way.
You were a wrestler in college as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you have all these sweet moves.
I know.
Maybe.
I was going to say, like wrestling for men is like yoga for women. Is that like the thing?
Is that what it is?
I mean, kind of.
Because you're stretching your body in just all different sorts of ways, except with a male partner.
Yeah. And which is...
And singlets.
And a lot of people call you gay growing up.
I was going to say it, but I didn't want to be that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my response is always come into the wrestling room. We'll show you how gay it is.
Okay.
Ooh.
And Alexander's there.
Yeah, Alexander. I don't just fucking. I could feel his dick get hard. My back is to him, and I felt it.
And now you're doing
insane.
threesomes with other men in your scene. So
Threesomes with men, threesomes with women.
Yeah.
Not having sex with the men, but there's a woman involved.
Well, right, but you still have to be there with that man, and your dicks are still only. What the thing is when you're doing a DP in a sex scene.
Sometimes touching.
Yeah, well, touching, but there's like the thinnest little layer in between a vagina and an asshole where your dicks are just rubbing on each other, right?
Sometimes they are rubbing, depending on.
If you're doing like a double anal or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm always super impressed by a double anal or a double vag. I don't know how it's physically possible.
Wait, they put two penises
in one hole.
Oh,
you could
I
do
didn't know
it.
that
You'd
was
be
a thing.
surprised.
My pussy is so tight. I haven't even had butt sex.
Amen. You've never had anal?
I've never had anal. I've never Yeah, I
Me
don't.
neither.
Crystal.
Even though I do the hoe to housewife joke, I'm very like.
You're monogamous. You're with your
Yeah,
man, and
I'm
that's
always
it.
my man, and that's it. Yeah, I'm very
Wow.
like.
That's good
I
for
only
you.
usually fuck boyfriends. I mean, I have fucked
Yeah.
non-boyfriends, but I'm just weird about.
No butt sex. Don't want to try it.
I haven't tried it yet. I will one day try it. But
You're intrigued.
One day was like I was really drunk. My current boyfriend and I, we just like I just was. It felt like I was assaulting him. We just came home one night and I was like ready. I was like, let's go. We didn't even. I didn't want any foreplay. I just wanted to get straight to
Yeah.
it. And
That's so hot. By the
it
way.
went so quickly. It almost went in my butt and it hurt so bad. I was like, I will never do butt sex. Plus, a lot of
Well,
the
You weren't
that's
ready.
what- yeah.
You weren't
no,
ready.
and a lot of the Arab girls I grew up with, you know, they wanted to stay virgins till they
Yeah.
got married. So a lot of them did butt sex instead. And one time at homecoming, a girl we had brought as another friend's date. They ended up having butt sex that night, and she shit on his dick. So after that, I was like, I don't think that this is something I ever want to do. You know
I'm
what I
the
mean?
same way. And I don't
Really?
even do anal scenes really.
You don't?
No.
Wow, I love it. I'm completely opposite of you guys, Alexander.
Some
I know
people,
you're with
I feel
me.
like you either love it or you don't.
Yeah, no, that's 100%.
Yeah.
Or you just haven't tried it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
that.
Who knows? Maybe the next time I do this podcast, I'll be like, God, I only do anal now.
So we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I love that. I didn't know that you weren't really like hoish. I thought
know.
I thought
The
before
hoe to
you
housewife
got.
is very misleading.
Yeah, it totally was. I thought you were out slaying it up, but
Yeah.
no.
Well, I
How
kind
many
of use
sexual
it
partners?
to. I could definitely. I want to say maybe like 7 or 8,
Okay.
but I'm 35. I'm old.
Wow,
so
that
that's
isn't-
not a lot for.
No. That
my
was
age.
before I left high school. Like easy.
Yeah.
I didn't lose my virginity till 20 though, till I moved here because I was
Oh,
like
wow.
terrified my brother would find out. But
Oh wow.
yeah, but I think the hoe to housewife. I say it because I feel like it's my way of like taking control of the word because I feel like men use the word a lot.
Right.
To like it's like to use against women. It's like the worst thing you could have said to me growing up was to call me a whore or a
Yeah,
hoe.
that's how. Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just take the word and that's why women love that joke so much.
Yeah.
Like, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I feel like it was such a derogatory term, and now like I have a hat that says "slut" on it, and I wear it like super proud.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
We do have a word of the day, you guys.
What is
because
it?
Our word of the day is powerballing.
Okay.
Does
Wait,
anyone
wait,
know what
what is it?
powerballing is?
No.
I'm going to ask both of you before I tell you
played
what
the
it is.
Powerball.
Something I can try tonight with my
Yes,
Okay.
is the answer to that. Powerballing, you guys, and I fucking love this. It's when you can
I
feel.
tried it last night. I didn't
You
win.
don't know what it is yet. It's when a man's balls are swinging and they come up and hit your clit or whatever they may hit for you. But that's what it is. It's a power balling. It's the swing of the balls on that backwards motion to come up and hit the clit. Now, it's one of my favorites. I love a man with good hangy balls because if he's hitting it from behind, he can come up and hit that clit. It's like heaven for me. Are you into power balling?
I love it.
You're into power balling.
I
Is
think
it
it's
good
just
for
a
you?
cool thing.
Is it a good feeling to have your balls hit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily feel it, but I feel like it's.
Oh,
I feel like
powerful?
Yeah, I feel like I'm
Power balling.
I'm killing it. Yeah.
What about you, Crystal? Are you into power balling?
I think it's happened before and I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I come so easily that it's like
Really?
I don't get into like a lot of other shit because of that. So
Good for you.
it does not take
From
much.
penetration,
What?
from penetration, or from
From oral or penetration?
or out exterior.
I love like I'm a control freak, so
Yeah.
I usually only come if I'm on top.
Okay.
But my current boyfriend, he's somehow gotten me in every way to come and he has fucked so much. So he just has opened me up in a way that like I've never really experienced, but I'm so attracted to him that again, it's still so easy
So
for
easy.
me. That,
I
yeah.
love that. So do you not use toys on yourself then? Probably.
No.
Wow.
Actually, I have one of those bullets.
Your clip must be the most sensitive thing in the
It's
world.
very, but the bullet desensitizes it, so I try
Yeah.
not to use it too
Girl,
much.
I got the one that plugs into the wall.
I know,
like I am
I know,
desensitized as fuck. Like I
Blows
can,
breakers. And
Yeah,
shit.
like I can ride a wall mount for 15 minutes
So
and not
funny.
come. Like, we're on different levels. That's amazing. What about nipples for you? Are nipples
That's
good?
I could come just from my nipples.
See, I'm the
It's
same.
insane, yeah.
Nipples are big for me too.
Wow.
How are nipples for you?
I don't like anyone to touch mine.
You don't
Oh,
like
really?
anyone touching your nipple?
I don't like anyone to like hurt me, pinch me, bite me, anything like that.
Oh wow! I dated a
Wow.
guy once that couldn't come unless I was pinching his nipples.
I find that a lot with people. I grab my own nipples when I'm about to come. I think it's.
I feel like a lot of girls do that.
Yeah, I definitely do too. I don't know. It's just like an extra stimulation. But I also am the girl who needs the extra stimulation. I also prefer a butt plug in when I'm coming as well.
wow.
I'm telling you, I want the
takes-
butt
that
plug,
takes-
someone holding my nipples, a penis in my vagina, and something on my clit. Like I.
Do you ever
need
have
it.
sex with men who are not in adult entertainment?
Very rarely.
Because I was going to say that I feel like
Sex-
they wouldn't know what to do or how to
Yeah.
pleasure you because
Or
It's a
come with a
lot.
suitcase
I would,
full of goodies.
yeah, I would be like, this is everything you need to know. Here's a binder. And if you can't do all of these things at the same time,
Don't bother showing up.
don't
not
bother
apply.
showing up and don't take it personal if I don't come.
I wish men didn't take it personally if you don't come, but they do. They take it so
and you're opposed to
personally.
just, if you like the guy, just give him a pity, fake
it,
orgasm.
100%. Yeah. Do you
So
fake
you're part of the
orgasm?
problem.
No, I'm such a cunt. I'm like,
You
didn't
won't
make
do
me
it.
come, honey.
You
so
won't do it for
don't-
him.
not
You
even.
shouldn't. You shouldn't have to. I just do it to end it sometimes.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
get
as
it.
to be nice and to get it over with. You're just like, you did good. And then they're like, I did. And I'm like, you did.
Yeah.
And then we're like, yay, let's move on. Never talk about it. That's
so funny.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because it's a
That's
lot
what I
of.
try to
It would be
do.
a lot of pressure for a man not in the adult entertainment industry to have sex with you. It would be. I would be so
That's how
intimidated.
girls feel too.
What?
No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
No, I would. I would be so.
I've hooked up with a few girls, and they're very self-conscious and
Yeah,
like.
and I feel like they try to do like crazy things, and I'm
Yeah.
like, we're not
I
making
wouldn't.
a porno.
I would just lay there like a dead fish and be like,
Well, that's what you
Do
should
what you do, honey.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
"You're great at your job."
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
ride this cack.
I'll bring
Yeah.
the jokes. You
Right.
bring the orgasms.
Totally.
Yeah. Speaking of jokes,
Yeah.
and you are an amazing comedian. Your your comedy career has just been blowing up lately.
Just been getting there.
No, it's amazing. I love seeing you on stage. I love that you're hitting all these big places. You're doing the Laugh Factory. You're doing the Comedy Store. You're up in New York performing all over, and you're representing a ton of minority groups. For one, female in comedy. For being the Catholic. For being the Iraqi. Like you, and you've done so.
Catholic Iraqi.
I know.
We make up a very small minority
Yeah, very
in
small.
Iraq. People
Yeah.
always assume I'm Muslim because I'm Iraqi. They don't know
Right.
that there's Christians in the Middle East. It's crazy.
But you're first generation. You were born here.
Yeah, I was born here. My parents were born in Baghdad. So
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And how are they coming to having their daughter being this famous comedian?
it's funny because
TV personality?
when I first moved to LA, they hated it because you don't typically leave home until you're married. And I'm the first daughter. I'm the oldest. So there was the most, I had the most rules. My sibling,
Most expectations?
Yeah, my
course.
sisters got it a lot easier than I did, which is
You
funny.
broke the mold.
Yeah, which is funny because they followed tradition. They got married
Oh.
young, had kids young. I did the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And I think that just goes to show you when you put too many rules and regulations on your kids, they want to do the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And for my sisters, it was just kind of like it appealed to them because it's a very close knit community in Detroit. There's a really big Christian Iraqi population.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of thousands of them. So it's like a little mini Iraq in Detroit.
Wow.
So for them, it appealed to them because all their friends were that way. And they like the whole like old fashioned lifestyle where the man just kind of takes care of the
Runs.
woman and she just runs the home. For me, it was just like, I definitely want kids one day. I don't know if I want a husband, you know? So
That's an option nowadays.
it is. You
definitely-
can adopt, and it's harder to adopt if you don't have a husband, I've noticed. But I definitely want to adopt a child one day and then, maybe possibly have, give birth a child as well. But
That sounds so tough to me.
at first it was, I don't know. I would love to be a mother. I know I want to be
Yeah.
a mom.
You would be a great mom.
Thank you.
And any child would be happy to suck on those breasts.
Unless it's adopted, then that's. We're getting
Would you
into
let an
weird
adopted
territory.
child suck on your breast?
No, there's no milk
Well,
in
you
there,
wouldn't.
bitch. Then it's just porn.
Unless you had the real kid first.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then it's just my style of mommy porn.
Yeah, and then it's just child pornography, and I'm going to prison.
Yeah, that's not
She
good.
kept trying to force her child to suck on her tits.
What child would say no is all I'm saying.
The child was so confused, like, Mom, I'm starving.
Being in our
And
industry.
I'm 10. Come on.
Being in film for as long as you've been in film and being in comedy as long as you've been, do you feel like you've had any Me Too moments?
Not that I'm going to talk about.
Okay. All
I
right, that's
just
fair.
don't think that just seeing the Me Too movement, and I don't think I support it, and I support all women.
Yeah.
And I think I've come a long way in how I treat women.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I don't think I was a girl's girl.
Oh,
now
really?
I've definitely made so much progress, and I go out of my way to help women and be supportive of women, and I love all women. The only women I don't like is if you do something to intentionally hurt another woman, then I'm probably not going to fuck with you.
Right.
But other than that, I love all women.
Yeah.
So
That's strong of you to say that you weren't necessarily a woman's woman 10
No.
years ago.
And that's the thing is like, I believe people can change. I think that
100%.
me moving to LA kind of helped that. I came from a community where it was you bow down to men.
Yeah.
You don't support women. It's what the man says is what goes.
Was it that way in the household you grew up in?
Well, my parents had an interesting relationship. So my mom was forced into an arranged marriage with my dad, but he worshipped her.
Oh, that's great.
He was so in love with her. He worshipped her. He put her through school. She did a lot of things most women in our community did not do at that time.
Okay.
But it was still, she still, even though she always would say, we're not going to raise you with the double standard, it was very much there. I have a brother who's a year older who could do whatever he wanted, and I could do nothing. So it was interesting. But I still, fought it, and then I eventually moved, and now I have a great relationship with my parents. So it's
I
nice.
love that.
Yeah.
So you started out with an online presence. You started doing
I did online hosting,
Yeah, online hosting. How do you feel about social media and what it's done to your career?
Well, it's so funny because when I started, I was like, oh, I do not want to be like a YouTube online host. And then we were getting, first, I was like, I want to be on television.
Okay.
This is crazy. Why am I doing this? But I was making the same amount of money as the women on television.
Right.
So, and then to watch it grow and then my social grow. Because people always assume I have a big, my following's not even that big, but they think I have the following because I have like nice tits.
Right.
But I'm like, no, I have it because I fucking used to work online hosting. So it's interesting.
Hosting what?
I used to host a show called The Fumble. It's a sports show. I started the channel. So now it's got like, it's insane how much it's. If I was still there, I'd probably have 1 million followers on social. So
do you still do anything with Fumble?
No.
Okay.
I left and was just ready to be done. You know, when you just kind of like, you're like, there's nothing more I could. The only thing that could have grown is my social following, but there was nothing more that show could have done for me. So.
Yeah. So it's kind of thrust you and your life into the tabloids. How do you feel about that?
The
How do you feel about
tabloids?
putting your dating life out in the tabloid area?
Is my dating life in the tabloids?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it is, girl.
What dating life? Who I'm dating now?
Is it like who she's dating
If you
now?
Google, you see pictures. So I didn't know if you wanted to be open with that or.
I didn't know.
Like
Okay.
a past guy.
Yeah.
Oh, got you.
We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
That's why I figured. I was like, let's not.
I mean,
say,
it was
but there
like
are
10
pictures.
years.
Okay.
That was like 10 years
Oh,
ago.
got you.
But they're still out there. I mean, it's still.
Yeah, I mean, it's of course. Once it hits the
internet
fucking
lives
internet,
forever.
it is
yeah.
there forever. Yeah, no,
Tell me
I
that.
don't. I'm not I love everyone I've ever dated. Like anyone I've been with, I always make sure we have like a good relationship to this day. And actually, who you're actually talking about, we actually didn't talk for like maybe 6 years, 5 or 6 years, and then I kind of reached out to him and was like, what was it exactly? Why are you so upset with me that you're holding on to this for this long?
Yeah.
So we talked it out, and it was a whole misunderstanding. So now we're great. I mean, we're not friends, but we're cool.
At least that's an adult thing to do. Have the conversation.
No,
and understand why there was
I think
an
if you've ever
animosity.
loved anyone or anyone's ever, for me, if I've ever been intimate with anyone, I want to be able to be cool with each other. So
all 6 people.
it's more than that.
Seven.
No, I like to I'm very much like I want to make peace and stay peaceful with everyone. That's the phase I'm at now.
Good.
So
I love that that's the stage you're at now. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm the same way in my life. Like I used to get very angry at people for
Yeah.
their beliefs being different than mine or anything like that. And honestly, I just got tired of fighting. And I'm like, whatever
Right.
makes you happy.
That's
If
that's
that
part of
makes you-
aging, though. I feel
Yeah.
like.
yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
You care less about what other people think, and
Right.
you're a little more like kind of like I was talking before we started. Is you're a little more accepting to the bullshit that used to like piss you off.
Right.
You know.
You have just more compassion in your heart. You're just
True.
kinda like-
Empathy is something that I don't think you gain until later
a
in
lot
life.
of times when people are just angry, it's because they're sad.
Yeah,
because they've
that's
been
very
through some
true.
stuff. And I think for me, when I was angry, it was that I was sad. I was misunderstood. There was no one that really could relate to what I was going through. I didn't have a lot of friends that could understand.
Yeah.
And I just kind of felt like an outcast in a community.
Yeah.
But I feel like for you, do you feel like because you're in adult entertainment, women, like when you started comedy, how did the women treat you?
Well, I was in comedy first before doing porn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so
I didn't
when
know
I
that.
did it before, women were fine to me, but I wasn't really I wasn't funny before I got into it because I didn't have enough like good topics really
Right.
to get into. I didn't know enough about comedy. But then I started doing comedy out here, and then I was already working in porn at that point. So it did come in. It is different in how women treat me. That's why I say there's very few women. This is why I adore you so much, that do treat me like an equal. So as a lot of people will just be like, oh, well, she's not really a comic. She's just a porn star who does it on the side. Well, no, the whole reason I got into porn was to pay for my comedy career.
Yeah.
So
Well, also, even if it is something that you're doing on the side, or even if you're bad at it, or whatever level you're at it, it makes no sense to me when people like mistreat someone for
Yeah.
no fucking reason. If someone's so nice, I'm like, and I'll watch. People have come to me too, like when I'm at comedy clubs and I'm nice to someone, and they're like, "He's horrible at comedy. Don't talk to him. It's not a good look." And I'm like, who the fuck
Right.
like talks? Who are you? You're not good at comedy either, motherfucker.
yeah, right.
So that to me is so strange.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I can say this, like, you know, I was like, when I met you and you were so sweet, I remember saying to a friend of mine, I was like, I hope these bitches are nice to her because she is so sweet.
Oh, thank you.
And so that's why, like, I went out of my way to make sure you knew, like, whatever you needed,
Thank you.
you know, so.
Yeah, I appreciate
But you're so funny.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You
You're
know, it's
so
funny that
funny.
you say the not being nice to people who you don't know. I did a show the other day, and the guy was really rude to me, the guy who was running the show. And he like kicked me off a stage. And when he did so, he came up to me later and he was like, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. And I thought, well, wouldn't you want to be nicer to me then, since you don't know who I am and this is our first interaction, that you would want to be like kind and cordial instead of being an asshole?
So weird to me. It could
Yeah.
just be that, like, he never got any pussy growing up.
Well,
And he sees you and he's like, okay, I'll never have her, so let me just treat her like shit. Because
Well,
usually that's what it is.
he didn't want me. He was a gay man. So,
Okay, well,
yeah.
then he definitely didn't get any pussy growing up.
And if he did, he didn't want it.
I was gonna say maybe he was getting pussy and absolutely.
Or maybe he
didn't
got
want
pussy
it.
once and it was traumatic. And then he's like, I am switching to dick,
Yeah, he
For
can't
life.
do it anymore.
never touching a pussy again.
You can get bad pussy that will turn you
Yeah,
away.
he probably fucked a girl with she was like had a
Yeast
yeast
infection.
infection and who knows what else, a bacterial infection, HPV, whatever.
Oh, it's rough. It is rough out there. It is not a fun game in the vagina world. Vaginas are hard. I say it all the time. Vaginas are so
They're
much
so
work.
hard.
I
They're
know. I'm glad I don't have one.
just putting one simple thing inside of it can ruin it for a week. Like, it's so crazy. And that's an inanimate object. I can put an inanimate object in my vagina and it ruins it for a week. It's crazy.
No, it is so hard.
I've
being
learned
a woman.
so much about my vagina through pornography. It's
I'm sure.
crazy.
I'm
I've
gonna
learned
call
a lot.
you whenever I have any problems.
You
Hey,
should.
there's a weird mole.
Don't call any doctors. Just
Yeah.
call me. I'll inspect it and I will let you know what's going on.
There's a smell coming out of it. It's not bad, but it's definitely not good.
Yeah.
Zero discharge. But can you tell me what this could be?
And then I'll nail
Nurse
it. I got
Sylvia will
you.
come through. She'll be like,
Yeah.
yes, go to Walgreens and get this. Okay. Stick a pineapple in it. People will tell you the stupidest shit. Stick a full fucking piece of garlic up your vagina.
When someone told me when I first got in to stick yogurt in my pussy, and I was like, I'm not sticking yogurt. I've never put yogurt in my pussy, by the way, but that is a thing that people tell you all the time, to put
The
regular.
live culture.
Yeah, live
it'll
cultures.
eat up the infection.
Well, I don't do that, but
Well, it's
people
just
have
like
told
we
me
have.
it's an
We live in
option.
America. We have access to Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
You don't need to stick any foods up your vagina.
It's true.
Just
yeah, don't stick any foods.
Stop playing with Google.
But that's speaking of.
Uh-oh.
Where's the sound? Is there a sound? Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, what was the word?
Oh, there it is. Well, we already did
Powerball.
the
It's a doorbell.
word.
Is someone here?
Powerballing is the
Oh.
word. But so we always do a segment on this show, and since you mentioned it, we might as well bring it up.
Okay.
And it's
keep
so this
moving.
show is
Can't sit
about all the things that you're only brave enough to ask Google.
I can't
Okay.
wait to hear this, by the way.
So, so I always ask our guests the question: what was the last thing that you Googled that was like sex related or anything?
Right.
Anything. What do you got? And Donnie, you got to give something this time.
Okay. You go first.
Can anal sex send you to the hospital.
Is that what you Googled?
Yes, I was terrified. My ass
And
was
it
hurting.
can.
Totally legit.
He put literally the tip, and I was like in so much pain. Of course, because also there was it wasn't wet at all. So we had no lube, and it was just an accident. So it was quick, and I get very aggressive. And so for me, I was like, do I need to go to the hospital? Did I do something that's going to cause? But luckily, it only stung for maybe 5 minutes, and then I was good.
That's good.
And from what I hear, it is a stinging sensation or a burning.
Burning,
sensation.
yeah. It's not. It's not an easy thing to do. Like my best friend, she takes it like a champ, and she's like 104 pounds, and I'm like, how are you?
It's
what's
always
happening?
the small girls.
Yeah,
that can take it.
Yeah.
Crazy,
I mean, I'm not that small, but I'm in.
Well,
I
yeah.
can take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Donnie?
So I guess.
Yes!
If we're being honest, I have Googled like STDs and things like that.
Oh, what the pictures look like, and
yeah,
if there's something that you
They're
got.
gross. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I was on set with somebody the other day whose shower remained nameless until after the show. But he had something on his penis, and I said, no, I called it, and I said, I'm not going to shoot with you because I see something on your penis. And he was like, oh, I cut myself shaving. And I was like, it's on your shaft. Like, who shaves a shaft of their dick?
That's a very.
Like,
I feel like that's a very common response when you.
yeah, he's like, oh, I cut
sure.
myself shaving. And I'm like, that's not cutting yourself shaving. That's herpes, and I'm not putting it in my mouth. Like, and
Yeah,
he
get
got
the
all
fuck outta
butthurt
here.
at me, and he was like, I can't believe you don't want to work with me. And I said, then put me on your no list, babe. And he was like, you already are. And I was like, great, because he's brand new to porn anyway.
So wait, you guys do a
called. I
no
would've
list? What
replaced
is this?
them.
we
What is this no
found a
list?
replacement in 20 minutes.
Oh, I was gonna say
no list
I could
is-
send you replacements.
Yeah, the no list is people that you don't want to work with or things that you don't want to do. So on your no list would be anal, for
Okay,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's
I
just
could
like,
never do DP either. 'cause
oh, I love
two at once. I would
DP.
die. I could not do long sex scenes either.
Yeah.
What define
She
long?
has
though?
real good
Yeah.
standards of what she's
I would
not
be
doing.
like, you can't have any hair on your body. I would have so many. My list would be so long. There'd
love
probably be
it.
like one person left to work with me.
I'd highly doubt that, Crystal. I bet there would be lines of men
Like,
just
what is
lighting
the-
up, like, we meet all the requirements. I've done all the testing. I have everything I need. Just please let me have sex with
I
Crystal.
have to shower immediately before. She has to see me
that
lather.
should be a thing.
I do that.
I do
yeah.
I shower when I get to set.
You should. I have a lot of guys do shower when they get a set, and I appreciate it because I did have a stinky ball guy one time, and I didn't say anything, and I did the scene because I was really new. And then afterwards, I said something to the director, and he was like, "You should have said something to him before the scene, like tell him to go shower." I'm
I
like,
tell
I didn't
them,
know if that
yeah.
was mean.
I tell them brush your teeth, do this, do
Yeah.
that, because
Yeah.
I don't care. And you know what? Like,
Well, it's
well,
your
I
job.
do care.
Make
That's
my
why I
job
say
easier.
it.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah,
do it
yeah.
for so long.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
I'm very like if someone's breath stinks or the dick stinks or it's not groomed right.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it very passive aggressively, but like my shit is always on point.
Right.
And it is like $75 to get a Brazilian wax.
Yeah, it's not
so
cheap.
if I'm paying that,
And here's my argument: is like you're not even getting paid with
no,
your vagina that
I'm
I
not.
know of. So
I'm not even making money. I'm just getting
so
orgasms.
I have one thing that needs to it needs to show up ready to go.
Yeah.
And so I make sure it's in the best, like,
It should
tip-top
be.
shape, you know, and a lot of people don't do that.
It should be.
You look like you like are very put together, like you groom yourself
Yeah.
well.
Thank you.
He's a good
I
groomer.
like
You
to
look
think so.
clean. He
Yeah.
looks clean.
Yeah.
You might be able to fit the list.
Oh, see there?
Wow.
Yeah.
We
Can I be in the scene?
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean, I would,
great.
who would do it without you?
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
What kind of animals are we?
Thank you. Crystal, when did you get into stand up?
It's only been 2.5 years.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
She's so good, you guys. Like, she's hysterical.
But I think because my
2.5 years in.
background and what I
Hosting.
did before, it helped. And
When
then
was
also,
that?
when was what?
When did you start
Hosting.
the hosting?
Oh, I did the hosting up until 3 years ago.
But when did you start?
Oh, I started like early 20s. So I've been
Okay.
doing it for a while, but
Yeah.
always as like a reporter or correspondent, never like a Mario Lopez.
Got ya.
Never a Mario Lopez.
No, like the main host. I never did that. Now I'm
Right.
testing for that stuff because they love that I do comedy. But for entertainment and sports news, it was always as a reporter and a correspondent.
And
Are
how'd
you-
you get into sports news? What brought you down
It's
that?
so funny. I'd never
I
even
was just
liked
gonna ask,
sports.
are
I don't
you a
even know
sports fan?
sports.
Yeah.
It's funny. People would be like, "Why do you do sports news? You don't even like sports." And I'm like, first of all, I did like it was more like sports gossip in a sense, or like biggest fights in the NBA. Like
Okay.
it was never like this was the
Stats.
score. Yeah, I never did stats.
Yeah.
I actually just worked at a company, and at first I started as an entertainment news host, as a
Okay.
stand-up host for entertainment news. And then the company was growing and I wanted more hours. I wanted to work there full time. I was cocktail waitressing. I was ready to be done. So I suggested they do a sports show.
Nice.
We started it and now it's their number one show. It's what keeps the lights on.
Wow.
So, and we started 5 years after the other shows, and we're shitting on all of them. So
Wow.
I don't know why I say we, like it's still mine. I make no residuals, but yeah,
Did you
they
start it
just
by
sold it
yourself?
actually. They just sold it.
Wow.
Yeah, we were a 2-man operation. It was me and the editor, and all the other channels had a team of like 20 people. So I'm so A-type. It would not have been as successful if I wasn't as in control of it as I was, but I was psychotic. I was obsessed with it because I had hated cocktail waitressing so much at that point. I mean, I loved the money.
Yeah.
And sometimes now I'm like, God, I could just go do one shift and pay my rent for the month.
Right.
But at that time, I just was ready to be done. I'm not a big drinker. And to be in that environment, I was there 5 years, to be in that environment and never be like liquored up is hard.
Yeah.
For that long.
100%.
I'm sure I've never done it because I don't like drunk people, and I like to get drunk, but yeah.
So you do comedy. You've done it internationally as well. What's the main difference between doing comedy here in the U.S. and doing it internationally?
It's so interesting what hits
Really?
in some places, because I went to Malaysia
Mm-hmm.
and I struggled. So I had to do a 20-minute set. And the first maybe 2 minutes, 0 laughs. Because in Malaysia, it's a Muslim country, 90%, and is Muslim. And when we went, it was like an Arab season for some reason. So there was a lot of Iraqis and Saudi Arabians. And so most of the women in the audience were full on hijabs.
Oh.
And so I come out and, I always have cleavage out
Right.
when I do my stand up. I usually wear like slacks and a bodysuit.
Yeah.
And so I come out and I do my hoe into housewife stuff, and I do my these titties are a lot, huh? And I'm just trying to play with them, and they were not having it until I get to my bits where I shit on men.
And then they were okay with it.
But even the laughter, then they were like, we're going to die when we get home for laughing at this. But it took me a minute, and even Ahmed, who booked me on the show and hosted that show, he does the bookings in Malaysia. He's a very talented comic. I love him very much.
Yeah.
He even said, he's like, I've never seen you struggle like that in the beginning. And I was like, why would you think that I am the right person for this job? What would make you think that I am who they want to see?
Yeah.
But that's Ahmed for you. Anytime he likes someone or thinks they're talented or sees them being a big star, he wants to take them under his wing and make sure that they're taken care of. And so
That's amazing.
He threw me that bone. But it was so funny. I just felt like, I was the wrong person for the job, but I was still very happy to be there. And when I got there, I was detained for like 9 hours. So it was just insane, but I enjoyed it. It was great. The guys that I went with are now very good friends of mine. So it was great. So yes, some things just don't hit.
Yeah.
When I went to Lebanon, my best joke here, to the point where like, it was the first time I started getting props from big comics.
Mm-hmm.
It hit in Malaysia. It did not hit they just didn't understand the keep the motherfucker down. They didn't understand what that meant.
Got it.
And all the other comics were
Language translation didn't
it just
hit.
didn't. But they speak in Beirut. They speak beautiful English. Their English is perfect. It's just still America. It's like, I guess it would be considered slang, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So it was just interesting, and it really fucked me up because that's like my closer. It's my banger joke. And to go there and it not hit, and it's a long joke. It's a 5-minute joke.
Oh, man.
So, and I'm only doing 15-minute sets.
Right.
I was only doing
Yeah.
15-minute sets there because it's a whole team of comics that went. And the other comics who were big time veterans, and like,
Yeah.
I looked up to all of them. Like Brett Ernst was there, and who I just fucking love. He's like, listen, kid, just get rid of the joke. It's not working. And I'm like, no, I am not getting rid of the joke.
Oh.
These bitches are going to hear it and they're going to like it.
Yeah.
But it was funny. That was hard for me because when I went to Beirut, my first set was incredible. I killed. And then for whatever reason, the 4 sets after that, I just did well. I didn't kill. So, but I still did well enough where I got great reviews.
Will you go back?
Oh my God, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's awesome.
For comedy. I already saw everything there is to see. Like I took all the money I made from that job, I paid to bring my parents out with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
In Lebanon, there's also a Christian population, Christian and Muslim population. And so I wanted to bring my parents to kind of experience that, and because they get along so well in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Like there's mosques and churches right next to each other. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I brought my parents out there, and we for 2 weeks just explored Lebanon, and it was beautiful. We hired a driver for the week, which was so cheap. And we saw everything.
Wow.
And so that was their first time seeing me do stand up too.
Oh,
So
and how'd they like that?
they loved. I don't do a lot of like sex jokes. I
Yeah.
do maybe like one or two at the most. And
Yeah.
at that time I only had one. And now I'm trying to like maybe do a little bit more because my sex with me is so different than most women. So I'm like, I need to definitely talk about that.
What do you mean by that?
No. I mean,
please enlighten us.
No, I mean my sex life, not sex with me. I'm just into normal sex. But like my journey into it, even being at this age, I feel like but most women hit their sexual peak in their 30s. But
Right.
This is like, I finally feel like I'm actually enjoying sex now. It's
Maybe
like
it's
for
'cause
the
the
first
partner?
time. The partner, also the age,
Yeah.
also you feel more powerful when
Yeah.
you do stand up. And I feel like since becoming good at stand up, I've just like when I became single, because I was engaged, I was with the same guy 6 years.
Yeah.
We just broke up, and then I jumped into a new relationship like a month later. But when I became single, I was like, oh my God, I'm 35 years old. No one's going to want me. We live in LA.
Yeah.
They want 22-year-olds. They
Right.
don't want women in their 30s.
Right.
So I was terrified, right? And then I was like, no, I need to change my thinking. So when I became single, I felt so fucking powerful.
Yeah.
I had never been able to lock down dick as quickly as I did this time around, to the point where I'm like, can you guys get the fuck? I don't want to have your fucking kid.
Right.
Get the fuck out of my face.
It's because confidence is key.
Confidence is key. And then when they know that you're not desperate for
Yeah.
it, and when, it just was amazing. It felt really, even now, like guys that I only went on a few dates with are still like, let me know if it doesn't work out.
If it
with the new
doesn't work
guy.
out,
I
yeah.
would love to take you to dinner again.
Just swipe. Yeah.
Or showing up to the store when I have sets, like guys I went on one fucking date with. So it's a beautiful thing, because when they know you don't need them.
Yeah.
Also changing your thinking. Like I just
100%.
felt powerful, and I kept telling myself I was powerful, and I kept telling myself, men love me and want to be with me and blah blah blah. Because you hear a lot of women talk about dating and they're like, oh, I hate dating. I fucking love dating. I love it. Like
They're
Yeah.
desperate.
Yeah.
but it's
a lot
like,
of times, I think.
but even when they're not desperate, they're like, they talk about men like they're the worst things in the world. So that's
Right.
what your experience is going to be.
Of course. Yeah.
I always am like,
put
I've
the
had
negative
great
vibe out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my ex was the most amazing human being in the world. Like
Yeah.
I adored him. We just weren't in love with each other.
and that happens.
yeah.
But
But
you can actually love people and not be
Yeah.
in love with them.
But
you know?
for 6 years, I experienced a very happy, healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And, I'm so grateful to him for that. But it's like, it's your thinking really does affect what you're welcoming into your life.
Yeah.
So, but I've noticed all the women that are like, oh, men are trash, or, I hate dating, they have the worst experiences.
Yeah.
I have a girlfriend now who's 42 years old, divorced, 4 kids, just a champion of women's rights, just the most incredible woman you've ever met in your life. Men flock to her.
Yeah. That's awesome.
They're fucking like 25-year-old sending her flowers to her because her whole frame of mind is, oh, men love me. I'm amazing.
Yeah.
I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah.
So I think, if
what you put out, you get back.
yeah, but even like
100%.
my guy friends that are like, oh, but women are the worst right now, blah, blah, blah. They're going to fucking stay single forever too.
Yeah.
Stay alone forever too. And they can't ever lock down women either. So I really do think the way you think, and you really do manifest what happens and
Oh.
what comes to your life, as cheesy as I'm making this sound. I've never felt better. And I
Yeah.
think it's because my thinking has changed.
No, I 100% agree with that.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think when you have that mindset, that's the way you're always viewing things, from that angle.
Right.
So it's like, oh, men are shitty. Well, yeah. I mean, if that's your mindset going in, then of course.
Right.
I could make all women shitty in some
Right.
way, but I don't do that.
But in my 20s, I was way cuter, way cuter in my 20s, and I could not lock I could not lock a man down. They
I
would
find
date
that
me.
hard to believe, for
no,
one,
they would
but-
date me for a little while, and then they'd end up going and committing to like a different woman.
Right.
I just wouldn't do it for them, and I think it was because I was in a negative space.
Yeah.
and I did have that way of thinking where I was like, oh, men are this, men are, or I was like also going for men that were just trash men.
Yeah.
When now, if a guy is not obsessed with me,
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Same.
I don't
girl,
do the games
same.
or
Yeah.
the fucking. I don't know what a lot of these guys are doing these days.
Yeah.
They call it negging. Is that what it is?
Wait,
what
what's
that is.
negging? I don't
Where
know.
they kind of like
Let's Google it.
Yeah.
they kind of make you feel like you're not shit.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
they do it to the hot girls or like if they think you're too confident, they'll be like, yeah, I don't want to say it wrong, but look it up. And then a lot of men do it. And I'm just like, this is the craziest shit I've ever heard of in my life.
I don't
and
like
it
the
works.
games.
No.
It works. No, I don't like the games either. I'm like, if I have to question whether or not you're into me,
Yeah.
it's going to fizzle out very quickly.
100%.
Very quickly.
I had a male comic who like I was a little bit obsessed with, and then he stood me up for a date and then didn't bother to call or anything for like a week. And then when he did message, she kind of acted like nothing was wrong. And he was like, hey, sorry about that. And I was like, no, that's not even slightly okay. You
Right.
can't just call me after a week if you didn't apologize after you stood me up on a date. I like changed my whole fucking schedule around to make this happen. And then I called him. What did I say? Oh, I said, you were a selfish asshole. And he was like, oh, well, I don't appreciate being called a selfish asshole. I was like, well, I don't appreciate being stood up for a week. And then you thinking you can just swoop back in and say, I'm sorry.
I would have just ignored him and not even ever paid
And he was
him
like,
any attention.
he was like, oh, well, I'm so charming that this will just slide by. And I was like, no, you're not that charming. No.
Well, his dick is probably so small.
Yeah, actually, I have had sex with him before.
Oh.
It's not small.
Oh, okay.
But
So he won. He won.
So he won already.
no, well, he does win in life for sure.
What's
But
his
he's
Instagram?
not- but he's not winning a date with me. That's for
That's
sure.
a big turnoff, though.
Yeah.
I mean, if I text a girl and she doesn't respond or responds like 2 days later,
Yeah.
that her priority's not in me,
Right.
and that's fine.
And move
I don't
on.
even care. I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
mad about it. It's just
that same. Like,
you
I'm
know,
not mad, but if you're,
I'm gonna be turned off.
I'm
at
with
that
you,
point.
Crystal. I have to be like, you have to be wanting to like cut other people's heads off for me. Like,
Yeah.
I need you to murder for me, and
Yeah.
I need to know
I need-
that I'm
I
the
like-
only person in your world.
Yeah, I mean, I just that for me is very important. I don't do the like games. I don't do the like you're cold or you're self. I'm a giver. So
Right.
you're gonna be treated like a fucking king if you
Same.
date me.
Yeah.
So if you for 1 second make me feel like that is not going to be reciprocated,
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I'm already chasing this industry, my dreams,
Right.
and the payoff is going to be great. I'm not going to chase dick for
Yeah.
zero payoff. What, you give me an orgasm? You think that that's hard for a woman in LA to get?
Right.
The fuck out of here.
So, what does the end game for you look like? What do you?
I would like to eventually just go on tour by myself.
comedy wise.
Comedy wise,
Yeah.
I want to turn it into like, I'm big on people being able to change in life without their past being held against them. I'd like to eventually write a book about my experiences with that.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you think was held against you? Because I feel like you've said that a few times.
I just suffered a lot of trauma
Okay.
growing up. I felt like I got picked on a lot for not following tradition.
Oh, okay.
Also, like my parents were not the best parents, but my
Got it.
mom had me when she was 18 years old. She was again
wow.
forced into an arranged marriage. She had my brother at 18, me at 19.
Wow.
If I had a child
I can't even imagine.
at 19, 18 years old, two of them,
Yeah.
and I couldn't even pick which dick I wanted to give me those children, I'd be miserable and be the worst mother as well. So I just think forgiveness is a big thing. And I think, and that's why I do a show called Behind the Bit. It's comics doing their darkest material followed by a Q&A with me about how they were able to overcome trauma and find the funny in it. Because you'll notice a lot of people that have gone through shit, they become victims, even into their late 30s, early 40s, 50s.
The
And it
woe is
affects,
me.
yeah, it affects their life forever, and then it'll affect their children as well. For me, I like to just be a survivor and kind of grow from it rather than live in my past forever. Because it's like we've all grown. My mom has grown. She's a great mother now. My father's a great father now. So it's just it's all about growth and allowing yourself to go there. Sure, you went through it, and there's no reason why you should have to deny that to yourself, but you don't have to relive it every day. And that's why I'm not going to sit and talk about the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to relive anything that I've been through in that sense, and I don't want to give it any more space in my heart or in my soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
no, I 100% get that.
Yeah.
I read something the other day that was saying that children of the 80s, which we all are, have lived their lives only trying to do the things that would have fixed their parents' lives. That if our parents would have just done this a little bit differently, like that's how we are living our lives now. And I feel that. I definitely feel that because I looked at what mistakes I think my parents made, and I try to stay away from those mistakes. Like my father was an alcoholic, so I try to stay away from the alcoholic path. And like my mother was always looking for a relationship. So I'm like, single is key, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm
Ooh,
like,
you'd be great for behind the bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a medium there somewhere. It's like,
There is, and
I
I'm it.
never drink ever, you know.
No, I'm the perfect medium. Do you
Right.
understand?
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, we are going to move on because we have some questions from
Okay.
our guests. I keep mouthing this microphone. I don't know who else has licked it, but
Habit.
It's like a magnet. Yeah.
I know it is. It's like
Anything dick shaped just goes right into her
I
mouth.
know it does. It's kind of scary, is what it is. Okay, so some questions. So we have Mexi Love. This is a question for me, I guess. Is it harder for an ethnic, which he's speaking Mexican, male to get into the porn industry and become as popular as some of the white stars? For that, I would say probably, to be honest with you, I hate to say it, but our industry is run by a lot of white men. There are some Mexican men. I know Bambino is a very successful Mexican actor. Who else? There's a new kid. He just came in. I just worked with him the other day, and I can't remember his name. John something or other. I don't know. Anyway, I do think it might be a little bit harder.
Is he Hispanic?
Yeah, he is Hispanic. I don't know. You might speak to this better than I do.
I feel like in the end there are less roles, but if you're good at it,
And you stick it out and you make
you'll
people.
be that guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you'll be the Hispanic guy that everyone hires, and next thing you know, you work 5 days a week.
Because we're always looking for male talent anyway.
Because there's tons of white guys, and
Yeah.
I'm just one of those white guys.
Yeah. Move along from. Okay, so the next question is from Douglas, and he asked, would you be as successful in any other career path? Like for me personally, or any of us, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I was successful in all my career paths. I worked in healthcare for nearly a decade before I got into comedy and adult work, and I kind of sailed to the top. I worked entry level in all my positions, and I always ended up running whatever got to the highest point wherever my position could be, and I was always in control of other people. So I feel like if you're going to be a successful person, you're going to be successful in anything you do. Personally, I
agree. I think your work ethic determines
Yeah.
your success rate. And even now, I have been very curious about the cannabis industry. And my cousin owns a couple dispensaries, and he's opening one in LA. And I was like, give me a couple days per week to work for you, and I'll
And
be the
learn some
top
things.
sales because I
Yeah.
want to learn everything. You don't even have to pay me. I just want to learn any and everything I can learn.
Yeah.
Because now I have this fascination with it. I want to get into the business.
Yeah.
And so
Be careful with that statement of you don't have to pay me, though, because that's what I said to comics for a long time. I was like, you guys don't have to pay me. I just want stage time. And now everyone wants me to be their headliner for free. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So
No,
now
I only say you don't have
Yeah.
to pay me. I only say you don't have to pay me to people I know who are going to pay me.
Yeah.
I never say
yeah.
that statement to people who have a reputation of wanting to get things for free.
Yeah, and see, I've been doing shows for free for a long time, and now that my name does mean something, and they're putting me
Yeah.
on these flyers as their headliner, I'm like, okay, you gotta, there has to be
Yeah.
some give and take.
Well, also
here.
it's just you're saying to the universe,
yeah,
I don't just really deserve this money.
right.
So that's why I'm always like, I used to be that way too. Like if a friend would book me and they'd try to give me money, I'd be like, no, I'm not good at comedy yet. But now that I'm good, I'm like, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you need to pay me.
Exactly. Yeah, this is what I'm here to do.
So.
100%. Donnie, would you have been good in your other careers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like to what she said is I'm always positive all the time.
Yeah.
So I never look backwards. I mean, I'll look and think about things that I'll learn from things I may have screwed up or whatever, but I don't really dwell on things. I don't really let things bother me. I'm always, kind of moving forward and just figuring out what I need to do next to get in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same across any industry.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I agree. I think we're all in cahoots on that one. All right. Last and final question is from Andrea. And she said, would you support your daughter if they got into porn or comedy? So happy I don't have children.
You don't have to think about it.
So it's not really my question. I would like to think I would be supportive in anything that my children did. Like my dad always says to me, about porn, I wish you wouldn't, but I'm going to love you no matter what you do. So as long as you're happy and healthy, then I'm happy for you. And I think that as I would hope I would be the same type of parent. I would say for me, I'd be more worried about my kid going into comedy just because of the money aspect and how you support yourself. Because as comedians, you don't make a lot of money until you're making money. Like you go from pennies to millions pretty quick, you know, or not pretty quick, but there's a jump there. There goes from nobody knowing who you are to making a couple $100 a show to everybody knowing who you are to making, you know, a friend of mine making $500,000 a show. You know, it's like a crazy jump. So I'd be more worried about that and how long you're going to struggle as a comedian before you make any money at it. So I don't know. What would you say?
I wouldn't be happy about it. I would try to find other solutions.
Really?
I'd be like, let's do other things.
Yeah. Have another skill.
It wouldn't even be like that. I personally have a problem with it. I just have a problem with the way that she would then be treated. And that would bother me. I'm cringing now. I don't even have a fucking daughter.
Yeah.
But for me, I would just say, let's explore other options. But kind of like your dad, if you did end up doing it, I'm going to love you unconditionally. But I would prefer you did something else. For comedy, I think if she had a mother who was also in the industry, it's different because I understand it. So I would know what she could do and we could get through it. So it wouldn't be as difficult as a, you know,
Starting
journey
out.
as it's been for me or for you. But I definitely, you know, also her upbringing is going to be very different than mine was. So I don't know if she'd even be fucking funny because the bitch is going to have a mother that loves her. So.
Not as much trauma to build from. Yeah.
Not nearly as enough material.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So-
Donnie, if you had a daughter, would you let her do it?
I don't know. I think I would, along the same lines, I would probably try to talk her out of it.
Yeah.
But I'm so not going to have kids. Like, and I'm not even joking when I say that. Like, I'm so far removed from that thought process. But probably not. I'd probably try to talk them out of it.
I think too, having, because I got in at 30 years old is when I got into the adult world. And so I think it meant something that I came from having a background in corporate America. And I had an idea of what it meant to show up for work and that other people are counting on you. And I think when you come into the adult world really young, I think that they don't really understand that. They don't understand that other people are relying on you showing up and doing your job for everybody else to get paid. So I think having the experience of the real world definitely helps coming into it.
And I think too, it's more of the what people are going to think of you. Not that 100%. You have to go out and
how
like,
they're
be
going
your
to
own
treat
person.
you. Yeah,
how they're
going
to treat you. Like
100%.
That's my.
I have other
kid,
friends
so.
that work in the same industry as you, and I see the way that other women treat them. Or men.
Yeah.
Fucking not showing up for a date or, you know, whatever it is. Or talking to them in a way where it's like, I want to smack the fuck out of the person. And it's not even me that they're talking to. So if that was my child, I would fucking lose my mind.
Yeah.
So.
That's why I say I want to go out and I want to change the world in the way that people think about sex and sexuality. So
do you think you would continue doing would you stay in the adult industry when your comedy career really takes off? If you're making millions as a stand-up, are you going to still be fucking on camera?
That's a hard question. I don't know. I love sex so much, and I love what the sex industry has done for me and the position it's put me in. So I really respect it, and I respect the struggle that it took me through. So I think for a while at least, I'd say at least the next 5 years, I'd still probably make a porn a month just to like keep my name in it. I like having my name as the porn star.
$1.25.
Yeah, but it's so crazy because the more popular you get, the less porn you actually have to do because you're making money in so many different avenues.
What is it, Khalifa?
Yeah, she doesn't do porn anymore
porn
at all.
For 6 months, and now she's fucking taking all my sports reporter jobs.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we got to wrap it up because that's the end of our show. But I'm so thankful to both of you for coming on
Thank
today.
You for having me.
Absolutely. Tell everyone where they can find you.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Crystal Marie.
Yes.
I am Twitter and Instagram as well at Donnie_rock, the number 6, the number 9, of course.
So childish. I love it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for another amazing episode, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Sexy Funny Raw. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sexy Funny Raw. Watch and listen to all of our episodes at sexyfunnyraw.com. Making the airwaves sexy, one show at a time. Until next time, stay sexy, bitches.